If you do not want your image to be captured, please turn off your camera. As always, we are governed by our community participation guidelines, and Steph is going to share them now in the Zoom chat. Welcome to the closing circle of Mozfest. We are close to, but not at the end. Not only do we have great sessions happening later on tonight and tomorrow, we have the culture party from 3:30 to 6:30 Central European Time tomorrow in Spatial Chat. And the festival in the plaza will live on for another 90 days, where you can access recordings and notes of many great sessions. And the festival also lives beyond in our connections, in our new collaborations, and in our partnerships that we've made over these last 11 days. So we opened on the 8th of March with 6,000 participants and 550 sessions. And in true ever-evolving fashion of Mozfest, we close out those 12 days with nearly 10,000 participants and 580 sessions. I wonder, does that make us the largest online event of the last 12 months? I think we need to check that out. Mozfest has always been about inclusion and participation, but what does that look for us when we're remote and virtual? The morning of the 8th of March, I was still asking myself, will people hear the invitation and feel empowered to make the festival their own? Can a virtual festival meet our needs and fuel the momentum we need today? Will there be any sense of joy? And will we feel elements of surprise? And will we see the love from the community and the event? Now, on the 18th of March, I firmly say yes to those questions. Yes, we saw it in the questions from participants in sessions as they explored new learning and sought to deepen their understanding of critical issues of internet health and trustworthy AI. Yes, I heard it in the dialogue and debate talks as they challenged us with new ideas and powerful and provocative perspectives. But I also found this special Mozfest community energy in really unexpected places. I felt it on Sunday watching a traditional live Bharatiyam dance performance by a woman from her home in Salem in India, while someone in her house held a camera that followed her motion. I felt it as I tried to figure out what was happening across Project Immerse. I also felt confusion and suspicion, but that's a different conversation to have with those folks who attended that Twitter show. I saw it in the short video clips shared of two young robots running around a garden after their youth session. I read it in the tweets and the sketch session notes, and I saw it in downloaded family resources, now crayoned masterpieces. I danced to it in Mozilla hubs for the Battle of Flowbots, and I sat enthralled as someone sang one night in Spatial Chat. I've watched in awe of over 1,000 people being on the plaza each day. Not in my wildest dreams could I have imagined how this Mozfest could turn out, and how much you would all make it a reflection of you and who you are. We may have provided the tools, but you created new worlds within them. It's so important to remind ourselves after a wondrous 12 days of why we've come together, to step back out of the individual moments and sessions and to think of the bigger picture. So I ask Mark Sermon to share that with us.
Thank you, Sarah. So inspiring to hear. I just wish I could hear everybody's version of that story and what Mozfest has felt with. And I want to say thank you as a starting point to each and every one of you who's here, whether you're in the closing circle with us or out on the streaming version of it, who attended Mozfest this year. And I think, similar to Sarah, I wondered what this would be. I worried about what this would be. I was excited about what this would be. And this was at once not like Mozfest, but so much like Mozfest. And when I think back to the whole 10 years before us, the virtualness of it was so different. But as Sarah said, it really was made by you. It was weird, it was interesting, it was critical, it was inventive, and it was in hot pursuit of a better future. And that really is the Mozfest spirit, where we kind of come together in hot pursuit of a better future. I also want to say, tying it back to some of where Mozilla is and some of the things we teed up in the opening Mozilla plenary, it was exciting to see this core theme of trustworthy AI cutting across so much of Mozfest. As I said in that opening, we're seeing the need to shift power around data and AI and the big platforms as a task and as an opportunity similar to the need to shift power around the web and take on Microsoft, that is where Mozilla cut its teeth and where we were 20 years ago. And so it's so exciting in that moment where that's how we're seeing the world and that opportunity to see so many different perspectives of how people are coming to those topics from so many different angles, yes, just so many different angles. And I was impressed by all those different perspectives and the ideas that you brought to the table. It would be impossible to list them all, but just a couple of highlights to me that kind of showed how every single little corner was tied back into something bigger. As I was wandering through Mozfest, I really loved the opening session that Bob did on AI and power, that talked about the need to decolonize data and AI. It was such a perfect stage for the conversations that followed. I kind of found myself accidentally wandering into the talk that Deb Raji and Camille Francois did on hunting biased algorithms. And it was just such a great example of sort of practically tackling those big picture issues that Bob's panel talked about. And you saw those things connecting, applying, old cybersecurity tools to the challenges we face today with AI. And then, so much of the art across Mozfest, which I didn't know how that would play out digitally. And that's really grown, under Sarah's leadership and so many people contributing as a part of Mozfest. And today the Mozilla board was there in Jonas Lund's friendly advice session. So we had all the board members there. And if you hadn't seen what Jonas did, it's really a playful way to look at how things like nudging and emotion recognition kind of play out and make them transparent. And things like that just gave everybody in that session such a different way to look at it. And finally, just because I want to make a personal thank you, but also really enjoyed it, the talks in the plenary on data and power, and Kathleen and James and Brandy and Sarah, just so amazing in lifting up those issues. I just was such an honor to be on stage with you and hear you talk about such important practical work. And I just want to say, in ending, looking back at all of that and so many other things I wandered into in Mozfest, it's the hunger to make progress on topics like these, topics like bias, transparency, the power dynamics around data, that very much connect Mozilla's work today back to the values in the Mozilla Manifesto, which was written almost 15 years ago. And clearly, these are topics that resonate and that so many of you are working on, and just delightful to see that. But I think more important than it just being delightful to see that here at Mozfest and to meet so many of you, as I said in the plenary, our commitment at Mozilla is to do everything we can to lift up and support the kind of work you are doing. And that is a key piece of where Mozfest is a springboard and a place also to come back to. So Bob is going to say a little bit more in a moment about how we're going to do that, how we're going to keep working with you. But for now, I pass it back to Sarah.
Thanks, Mark. So many of us arrived here unsure of what was about to unfold and how this virtual event would look and feel. So many of us have been to many, many Mozfests before, but there's a huge substantial amount of us who are new. And we've asked a mix of new and seasoned folks to share their experiences of the past 11 days. Alex, can you please play our reflections video?
I'll really remember the work that the Sustainability Wranglers put into curating the sustainability space this year, and the support that we offered the facilitators, and just seeing them through to their final facilitated sessions, and seeing how happy they were when their sessions were really successful and the audience loved what they were presenting to them.
So this was my first Mozfest. Yay. I was really, really super excited about it. I am going to take away with me the movement building that I witnessed from all the sessions that I attended. And I realized how interconnected we all are in our experiences to do with the internet and AI, and just a desire to incorporate more intersectionality in my approach in work.
Hi, everyone. My name is Zaina. And one of my favorite things about Mozfest this year is that I feel constantly overwhelmed with awe. Every session that I've attended, I felt like I'm building something with someone, with the group. And I've just really appreciated how much care and curiosity people have brought to every session, and how they deal with each other and with each other's ideas and projects. Excited to see you next year.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna, and I was a facilitator in the Shifting the Power space. What I take with me is how incredibly participative it was, how everyone was so eager to connect, to share their experiences and expertise, to actually figure out how to shift the power in the digital tech sector. Specifically, when leading my session, everyone was striving for these deeper connections, figuring out actionable solutions and ideas. And in that sense, it went smoothly because every attendee came with that attitude, for which I'm incredibly grateful. I came out of this experience inspired and eager to take action.
Hey all, my name is Prathamesh Chaman and I have been wrangling for the neurodiversity space in Mozfest 2021. The thing that was surprised to me, or the thing which surprised me the most, was that we were able to create a physical atmosphere inside a virtual environment. And I'm really thankful to the entire Mozfest team for having us in this edition of Mozfest. Thank you and see you next year.
Hi, my name is Wesley. I'm a developer advocate for Daily, and as a facilitator this year in the neurodiversity space, I felt it was really amazing that an inclusive environment was created just for us so that we can share our knowledge, share our tips, and feel less alone. Thank you, Mozfest, for bringing us together.
I want to thank everyone who lent their voice to that video, and I want to also express even more thanks to all of you who have contributed your voices, your time, your vision, and energy to make Mozfest all that it is. And I'm excited to tell you what Mozfest is not. It's not really over. So for the next 90 days, anyone with a ticket can continue to access the plaza, and all recorded material will be there. It's kind of like we figured out the cure for FOMO, or the fear of missing out. So you can go to the plaza and view any available content at your leisure. There is so much, so please, please do. Also, did you hear me say that this is available to ticket holders? Please, please, please spread the word and have your people sign up for tickets now so they can still be a part of our Mozfest community. I want you to know that we're almost at 10,000 ticket holders. So please encourage folks to sign up for a ticket. We have this time to continue to nurture our work and each other. I want to remind you about Mozfest Slack, which will be thriving year-round. Here, we will continue to share ways to be involved, and really, we urge you to continue to connect with each other, to share job opportunities in Slack channels, to come to facilitator meetups, to learn and help build more sessions throughout the year. If you don't see a channel you need, you can create that channel. We'll even have a shameless self-promotion channel so you can share your greatness to everyone. And I maybe just saw RuPaul in my head. As I said, we're almost at 10,000 ticket holders worldwide, but I'd like us to think about what that means, to not only have access to people around the world who purposefully care and are creating an open and free internet, but to get to build with them. Collaborations can and still will be born. The work and the connections we have made here these few days will live on. And so we have an opportunity I urge us all to take, to stay connected on email and in Slack. And I assure you we'll be sharing new events and new opportunities and new sessions. Do you want to write to us? Please do at festival@mozilla.org, and all of this will be posted and on a slide. I also want you to get involved with the work that Mozilla is doing. So please hear this as an invitation. There's so much going on, so here's just a snippet, but you can download the Regrets Reporter extension to participate in our crowdsourced investigation about YouTube algorithms. Have you read the incredible Mozfest book? You can download the new updated digital version. You can see the URL on that slide. The Data Futures Lab exists in service of all the folks and everyone who's working to ensure that there are no more data weapons. So please sign up to continue to engage with us. Do you care about how we localize content or make voice data sets available in African dialects? Then we need you to be part of our Marathi community or participate in Common Voice. There is so much more. How, Bob? How? We promise to populate Slack and the plaza, pointing you to the how and the where. I'm just going to close us out with one last word on why. We really do make the world we want to live in. It is simply up to us And if the last 10 days have proven anything, it's that we're amazing and vast and think a million kinds of ways and hold the creativity to leapfrog past any commercially enforced or societally scripted futures that don't center people, our environment, and that presuppose where and with whom power and resources are supposed to sit. Movements are not just words on a page. Movements are the verb of us, the commitment of us, the action we produce by coming together in joint purpose, open, free, for all. So you met us here virtually, and we will continue in this World Wide Web, but we also are very excited about the face-to-face adventures that will surely come. And so again, I think it was put so beautifully in the video. We really created a physical space in a virtual world. And I do believe we can create a virtual world in a physical space. Over to you, Sarah. And I know you're about to thank a million people. So hear me say, thank you, Sarah. You've done a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant job stewarding us all.
And that's exactly it. There's a million people we need to thank to help us build Mozfest this year. But thank you, Bob. That was lovely and really great call to actions. Okay, time for thank yous. So here comes a massive list of heroes. Hold tight while I get through this list. But it is a list of legends without whom Mozfest would not have been possible this year. As I thank these folks, let us remember these last 15 months it has taken to bring Mozfest to bear. So many of these folks have spent long solo hours in front of screens, working late, up really early, remixing plans, again and again, and redesigning resources to make this event everything it has turned out to be. And there's been others on this call who've been online for 24/7 for the last couple of weeks. Words cannot convey how many people have given so much effort to our community and to this festival. No doubt I'm going to forget someone, so please forgive me ahead of time. But I'm going to start with the Mozfest team. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Bob, Chad, Stephanie, Christina, Lucy, Mark, Anna, Zaina, and our honorary members of the team, Audrey, Elgin, Sabrina, Arlette, Steve, Jesse, Amanda, Lindsay, Alexander, and Roxy. These have all been working so hard across the uncertainty of the last year to boldly build something new. Thank you for your endless care, your innovation, and your love for the festival and our community. To our Wranglers, 47 inspiring okay. 47 inspiring creative folks and their mentors who have started this journey with us in September, designing spaces. Hello. Okay. 47 inspiring creative folks. Is anyone able to mute our friend?
Yes, trying. It would not be a closing if it didn't have a bit of event.
Yes, participation at the foremost. Okay, I really want to thank our Wranglers because this festival would not be this festival without their Wranglers. So I'm going to start it. 47 inspiring, incredible folks and their mentors who started this journey with us in September. They've designed spaces and they've curated the sessions that have been the heart of this event. We cannot thank you enough, and we are filled with gratitude and awe for what you've created while disconnected across time zones, collaborating from the side of desks, through unprecedented times and weather, and we are so grateful and honored to work with you this year. The next group. These are folks who were the first online in the morning and the last to turn off the metaphorical lights this year at the festival. Our production teams are indebted to you all. So, B Events, Sander, Saskia, Justine, Kitty, Verinia, Pepine, Jamie, Yana, Zifa, Hans, Ramona, and the entire studio crew in Amsterdam. To Giant Cookie across UK and Spain, Hugo, Dan, Mark, Mookie, and Melissa. To Open Lab team in Newcastle and the Pre-Talks gang in Berlin. Thank you for your leadership, your support, your creativity across local sessions, studios, platforms, and digital moments, ensuring everything ran smoothly behind the scenes. Now, these quiet heroes whose work and guidance and care is felt across the festival and in their sessions, Gunnar from Aspiration and Dirk from Fab Riders, we thank you and appreciate you. This is a special one. Thank you, Mozilla AV, for helping us with Zoom bombers, but also Andy, Can, Alex, Mark, and Tony, who've worked outside their local time zones, who always seem to be online, who've been helping us with the live stream and supporting us in times of issues. And they have managed a gazillion Zoom room links. We definitely couldn't have run this festival without your knowledge and experience, and congrats on never losing a link. A quick shout out to our Hey to Haas for our beautiful book, both digital and print. Over the last 12 days, there has been 25,000 Slack messages sent at Mozfest, and this crew added an emoji to nearly every single one of them. They've answered all of your questions and they've directed us all. Our volunteer heroes, 125 volunteers under the guidance of our volunteer coordinators of Dan, Robbie, Karen, Elle, Paul, Livy, and Nate Dogg. We love and appreciate you. To our sponsors, thank you, Coil, Google Open Source, and Vero. To those benefactor ticket holders who joined us this year, Libraries Connected, Stephen Mayer, Stephen DeChaney, and Issy Lou. To our Amsterdam partners and now our friends, the University of Applied Sciences, and City of Amsterdam, and the VOG. Right. This is an unusual since we just got muted, but I am going to encourage you all to join me in unmuting and sharing your appreciation, lifting the roof wherever you may be so that those folks who were unable to join us will hear us. Please, everybody unmute. Let's give a round of applause. Let's give a loud cheer and a visual, or you can give us a visual representation using the hand gestures in Zoom as you put your hands over your ears. Are you able to unmute? Woo!
Yay! Yay!
It's like a wave of sound across the Zoom call. I love it. I love it. Thank you. So thank you, everybody. And my apologies for someone I forgot. Right, we are so near the end. That was going to happen. I asked for it. Okay, so Mozfest is not over. Bob alluded to that, and we also have some incredible sessions still taking place. Battle of Flowbots, Queering Habitats, and DJ Nita Nace is soundtracking the global dance floor. But it is now time to say goodbye. And to be honest, it feels harder to do it this time than any other time. Maybe it's because we spent nearly 2 weeks together. Maybe it's because of the preciousness of the community in these turbulent times. So many of you joined us each day on the plaza and in sessions and across Slack. I don't know about you, but I am as tired as I would have been after a weekend of Ravenborn stairs, and I don't think I've left this chair, but I'm ultimately and of so filled with gratitude for you all for these last 12 days. We were unsure how this would work. We didn't know who or how many people would show up, and we were not certain that people wanted to spend any more time in Zoom. But what Mozfest is people, the community, and it has always been. It's about the joy and the laughter in sessions. It's about meeting and learning from our facilitators. It's about the connecting, taking the time to listen, to read and reply across all our participants, engaging in all the platforms that makes Mozfest what it is. Thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for sharing your work with us. Thank you for trusting us. And thank you for Mozfest 2021. Alex, can you play out our wrap-up video? I hope to see you all at the culture party. Thank you, everyone. I hope
yes, we're live. You can't really code trust. You have to trust each other as humans. And technology is there to support the trust building.
What is done for me without me is done against me.
We have to be able to have technology and have safe online spaces as well. I just refuse to yield that cannot be the case.
Technological tools will not be able to solve social problems on their own, and we really should stop asking them to do so.
This year at Mozfest, I met people from Canada, UK, Kenya, Tunisia.
Hi everyone, I'm joining Mozfest from Dubai.
I'm from Pune, India.
From Toronto.
From County Mayo in Ireland.
I'm joining Mozfest from Bangalore.
From Houston.
Hello, Mozfest is happening in London.
This year from Gaza.
From Medellin, Colombia.
that a few of you feel a bit uncomfortable seeing this.
Let's take a picture of the good times. Let's take.
I think that there's a lot of interesting opportunities with the way in which harnessing artificial intelligence can enrich what you're making.
Mozfest is, wow, it's huge, it's diverse, everybody's so nice.
The internet health movement. So Mozfest was a great experience for me.
Asante sana. Thank you, Mozfest.
Thank you, Mozfest. See you next year.
Bye, Mozfest. See you next year.
Thank you, Mozfest.
See you next year.
See you next year in Amsterdam.
See you next year.
See you next
See
year.
you next year in Amsterdam.
Thank you, everybody.